The primary bottleneck for AI adoption isn't intelligence. The models are smart enough. The problem is that these powerful agents are trapped inside hidden, synchronous shell processes. This diagram outlines the typical setup before the update. Notice the focus on the left side: synchronous workflows, laptop-tied execution, and high technical barriers. This restricts complex AI tools to a small fraction of power users who are already comfortable living in command lines. Hermes Agent version 0.9.0, the everywhere release, is a deliberate strategy to break the agent out of the terminal and expand its interface surface area. This timeline breaks down the development speed of the release. In just 5 days, the project accumulated 487 commits and 269 merged pull requests. Pushing nearly 500 changed files in less than a week signals a comprehensive overhaul of the system's operational core. For an AI agent platform, interface surface area matters exactly as much as cognitive capability. If an agent is brilliant but inaccessible, it remains useless. Running autonomous agents without clear, real-time visibility into their actions creates operational risk. You need a reliable way to see what processes are running and how the system is behaving. Here is the new local web dashboard, a unified control hub providing total visibility. Through tabs like Sessions, Skills, and Settings, you monitor logs and manage procedural memory entirely without the command line. Right alongside is Gateway Control, managing external messaging and network routing. Providing an intuitive visual control surface takes an abstract shell process and turns it into something you can actually supervise. This turns a novel experiment into reliable daily infrastructure. Forcing users to switch contexts into dedicated applications just to interact with their AI workflows creates immediate friction. True usability requires a multi-surface approach. The agent needs to natively integrate into the platforms where human communication is already happening. This grid maps out that exact expansion. Hermes now connects directly to 16 different platforms. This includes on-device mobile presence via Android and Termux, high-value consumer networks like iMessage, and enterprise flows through WeChat and WeCom. Hermes functions as an embedded layer, riding alongside existing human coordination on 16 different platforms simultaneously. Expanding an agent's reach out into the world is pointless if the underlying workflow suffers from severe response delay. High latency breaks the coherence of a tool-driven workflow. This diagram contrasts standard network routing with the mechanics of fast mode. By triggering a priority bypass, supported models are routed away from congested latency queues and pushed down a streamlined lane, dropping latency from 88 milliseconds down to 12. Once you solve response speed, you still have to deal with long-running tasks. This usually requires constant polling, manually checking a terminal window over and over to see if a background process has finished or failed. This circular workflow shows how the new Watch Patterns feature introduces asynchronous supervision. The agent spawns a process, continuously monitors the log output, detects a specific error pattern, and then alerts the user only when intervention is required. Collapsing latency and removing the need for manual monitoring establishes Hermes as a persistent, semi-autonomous operator. There is a critical trade-off to this everywhere release. Aggressively expanding integrations and pushing into external networks increases the system's attack surface. This diagnostic ledger outlines vulnerabilities like server-side request forgery and remote code execution on the left. On the right, version 0.9.0 mitigations counter these threats, deploying strict boundary enforcement in the checkpoint manager and neutralizing shell injection across all sandboxes. Deep security hardening is a mandatory prerequisite for embedding AI into sensitive, real-world communication channels. This ecosystem map illustrates the resulting architecture. The Hermes core engine now functions as a centralized intelligence router, securely pushing tasks out to an outer orbit of platforms and devices. These 3 panels translate that architecture into practical outcomes. For solo builders on the left, visual control allows them to manage workflows without terminal entrapment. Moving to the center, automation tower users leverage latency reduction and asynchronous alerts to run high-speed, unmonitored operations. And on the right, distributed teams can now interact with a persistent AI operator exactly where they already coordinate. We already know large language models can reason. The new frontier is proving that this intelligence can be distributed seamlessly across the devices we actually use.